Hello. Hi guys, let me know if the audio is coming fine. Today I actually really need to know if the audio is coming fine because at the last moment some screw up was happening with the OBS, okay? Let me know, otherwise I'll have to sit down to fix it now. और ये OBS का glitch तो नहीं जा रहा है. There's that little buffering thing going on forever. Okay, so no audio problem. Okay, nice. Thanks. Is that double metallic voice kind of thing also going on? I need to understand that. Okay, anyway, so guys, congratulations to you all on a huge and resounding Trinamool Congress victory. I hope they keep us on this path of beautiful economic prosperity and high GDP growth rate and insane employment and high educational qualifications and all gyan flowing everywhere like the river Ganga. প্রণাম সবাইকে, প্রণাম তোমাকেও, দুজনকে প্রণাম করব. Rohan, okay, thank you. And so see guys, as I told you, so I don't consider 2021 loss of BJP really a loss because they increased from 2 MLAs to 77 MLAs. But this election needs to be considered a loss for BJP, first of all because they are a distant second, way behind Trinamool Congress, and in lots of places there were actually peaceful elections, and even there Trinamool won resoundingly. And what I've always said, that in the end everything is fair and democratic in a way you can argue, because if someone is doing violence so much, why do they have the manpower to do violence unless the people really want them? Okay, ऐसा नहीं है कि यहाँ पे अचानक ISF violence करके जीत जाएगा. No, only Trinamool will win with violence. So there is a general consensus that people do want Trinamool Congress in the power. So there can be no excuses, and Shubhendu Adhikari is a face of failure this time, and someone else to be needs to be thought of as the leader for BJP, or if not, at least in terms of ground level campaign, obviously Shubhendu Adhikari is still the best BJP has. But at least in terms of game plan, strategy, what narrative to draw, what narrative to create, in that I think BJP now needs to make a change. Their bijli nahi aa raha, pani nahi aa raha narrative has completely failed to convince Bengal. Okay. Saw Nalanda intact with towers and then saw it burned down. উত্তরবঙ্গে বিজেপির বিপর্যয়ের কারণ কি আপনার মতে? যে এত খাটনি তৃণমূলকে ভোট, বিজেপিকে ভোট দেওয়া, আর এমনিও বিশেষ কিছু হবে না, বাকি জায়গায় পাওয়ারে আসবে না, তো উল্টে নর্থ বেঙ্গলে একা ভোট দিয়ে কী লাভ হবে এরকম হয়তো ভাবছে. প্রণাম ভ্রাতাশ্রী, প্রণাম. কারেকশন সবাই. ওকে, নাও উইল স্টার্ট উইথ ব্রহ্ম পুরাণ. And is Neenar here? Neenar had asked me a question about Vivek Ramaswamy. I'll just answer that before we start, because it is the English live stream today, and we do discuss a bit of mainstream and international news as well in this English live stream. So Neenar had asked me if Vivek Ramaswamy will also turn out to be like Andrew Yang, and I don't think that is the case, because first of all their marketing game, their strategy, their hard work, their narrative, everything is way different, and Vivek's is way better than Andrew Yang's. Only fascinatingly different idea that Andrew Yang brought to the table was that he decided that universal basic income is a really great and fun idea, and he was ready to criticize some of the stupidity of the Democratic Party. Vivek Ramaswamy, on the other hand, see, all the presidential candidates in the Republican primary this time have a different shtick, have a different appeal that they're bringing, have a different selling point that they're bringing to the table, right? So Donald Trump's selling point is that, see, you all had elected me to do a good job. I was trying to do a good job, but then by mistake I hired the wrong people and no one wanted me to do a good job. So this time I know what to do, I know who to fire, and I'm going to go there with an AK-47 metaphorically and shoot down everyone in my way, and then finish the job that I started in 2016. Ron DeSantis's campaign seems to be all about that. See, I'm such a great governor, which is like their chief minister. I'm such a great chief minister, therefore vote for me. He does not have any marketing or campaigning game, so to speak. Vivek Ramaswamy is the only guy here who has come with a bag full of ideas and ideas and ideas. He is throwing so much ideas into the new ideas, fresh ideas, ideas which people were afraid to talk about, ideas that were common a few decades back. Now all of a sudden these ideas are concerned extreme, just like working out is a far right concept. according to MSNBC. In that same way, Vivek Ramaswamy is triggering discussions and discourses and conversations and so many of them, so many fresh new ideas, that I think that Vivek Ramaswamy, even if he wins, of course he won't be able to accomplish everything he wants to, because no leader of any country is able to accomplish everything they promise, unless it's the Communist Party of China, where they have so much power to accomplish that they end up accomplishing even the stupid ones, because everyone thinks they are right, everyone knows in their hearts they are right, but they don't know that in some cases they might be wrong. So that's the problem with a dictatorship, right? That you don't know which of your ideas are actually bad and wrong and stupid. So China has made many mistakes like that, like their population control, or they're making a super fast train in the middle of nowhere. So those are the stupid ideas that China ends up doing. But no one is able to accomplish, no leader is able to accomplish everything they want to. So even Vivek won't be able to accomplish everything he wants to, but he will definitely push the country a lot further towards its betterment, which is bad for India, incidentally. Vivek Ramaswamy becoming the president, or if it's a Trump-Vivek presidency, which means if it's Trump president and Vivek vice president, it's a big problem for India, because then we won't be able to play this suddenly cool and upcoming guy who seems to be not that good in marks, but is improving so much in his studies that the topper is thinking, yeah, let's just be friends with him. Or in terms of many other analogies can be drawn as well. But they are a $23 trillion economy who is growing at about 1 to 2% every year, okay? And if Vivek Ramaswamy's plans are implemented, if they are fully implemented, then I think the GDP growth rate will become about 4 to 5% at least for USA. And even if he isn't able to do them completely, I think we are looking at 3 to 4% GDP growth rate for USA, which means India's GDP growth rate will go anywhere near USA in our lifetimes, and maybe not in the next 2 or 3 generations. And which means we will lose our voice. They won't become our enemies maybe overnight, but we will lose our voice. ये S Jaishankar का cool dialogues देना बंद हो जाएगा. Nope, no buffering. Okay, thanks. Did you hear about the tender for 25 bullet trains from Japan? No. It could have been done had BJP been ruthless, but they want everything democratically, especially under JP Nadda. Yeah, whatever needs to be done democratically. Convince those people to fight for you, or be your campaigners. So even today, you see what the Supreme Court is doing in terms of hearing 1984 rights cases, or saying Article 370 need not be heard, the government's position need not be heard, lots of things like that. So even ED's case, and central government lost their extension that they sought, that central government lost. So then there are judges who are saying that men's rights groups nahi hone chahiye, men's commissions nahi hone chahiye, Nupur Sharma is to be blamed for all the violence. So our judiciary is a completely unpredictable piece of equipment. We have no idea what they are going to say or do at any given day, and there seems to be no framework that to follow. Everyone has their own wishes and whims and opinions. So how is BJP going to do anything other than democratically and fully legally? What's your take on UCC and HUF? What is HUF? I've never heard of it. UCC, I'm not that decided. I don't see how UCC benefits Hindus, except maybe, see, because marriage demographic change का threat UCC implement करने से तो नहीं रुकेगा. Other than making the lives of Muslim women better, I don't think that's a strong enough opinion, because I don't think Muslim women are that much against Sharia law. And so it's not really your duty as the majority to go and tell them, see, learn from me. See, you have to follow these ideas, then your life will be better. Please don't be as Muslim as possible. Don't follow Sharia. Follow my idea. If they don't want reform, I don't think I need to force reform on them. See, everything, 90% of policies in India are band-aids. I don't think it's even fair to call them band-aids, because band-aids actually, even at the end of the day, heal your injury. Our band-aid laws don't heal anything. Whether it's like J. Sai Deepak's arguments of not having free speech laws absolute free speech laws, because that's the only weapon Hindus have in the way of protecting their sentiments. Because otherwise, the ideal position would have been that everyone insults everyone's gods, everyone's mentally strong enough not to feel hurt at everyone's words and movies and songs, and no one ends up going around killing people. तो killing people solve नहीं होगा, law and order solve नहीं होगा, हम उस पर बैंडेड मारेंगे कि तब ठीक है free speech उठा दो. Then J. Deepak has another banded law, which is that since Christians have so much money to convert and motivate people to say that here's a bag of rice, say hallelujah, it's the end of the game. So we will have anti-conversion laws, or we will say that no, let's this is J. Deepak's argument, that let reservation go on until we have a strong backup or a strong way to stop monetary based manipulation based conversion. I'm saying that if someone is that weak and stupid and dumb, or basically has no respect for Hinduism to convert to another religion at the drop of a hat, or with a bag of rice, then let them go. Let them go. What's going to happen with those fake Hindus in your fold anyway? If someone can become Christian because of a bag of rice, or if they can become Muslim because of a threat or because of a bag of rice, you think they are very effective for you as a Hindu? How is that going to work? So I don't see the point for an anti-conversion bill in a civilized society, in a country that's aspiring to be a first world country, which has intelligent, sane human beings in any way. Again, mainly because that's a band-aid law. What you're supposed to have is that people feel motivated to stay in Hinduism. People feel that being Hindu is the cool or the aspirational model to follow. पहले बोलती नहीं, लेकिन अब HUF is Hindu undivided family. What's the law for that? You can Google HUF. Okay, I'll check it out. Government has put out the tender for acquisition of 25 Shankhakuchi or whatever they are called trains, going to be used for golden quadrilateral apparently. But there is a problem in free speech argument too. Absolute freedom of speech expression is impossible. It's impossible because of our terrible law and order problem, and our law and order problem is terrible because we don't have sufficient self-defense laws. So you see, it's a band-aid on top of a band-aid on top of a band-aid. Solve the bottom situation and all of the three other band-aids go away. So in short, we are doomed with no hope. No, we are not doomed with no hope. We have at least people now creating voices and narratives which will motivate people further to be and change from the inside. We have always never hoped for change from the inside, and we have always hoped for laws. Whether it's the socialist saying सरकार को कुछ करना चाहिए, or it's the right winger saying सरकार को कुछ करना चाहिए. If all of your solutions are dependent on Narendra Modi doing something, then it will never happen, because you end up giving so much power to the government or to the prime minister or to the chief minister or to the bureaucracy that the day those people go away from that power, your life will be fucked beyond recognition once again, just like it was fucked beyond recognition from 1947 to 1991. So stop depending on band-aids and government power, because remember, I'll need to repeat this again. That famous Spider-Man quote, that with great powers come great responsibility, which is actually a quote from Voltaire, is absolutely bullshit. It's the opposite way of, it's the ulta way of looking at it. The real concept is that with great responsibilities come great power. So if you keep on giving someone responsibility, ये हमारे लिए कर दो, ये हमारे लिए कर दो, ये हमारे लिए कर दो, ठीक है, conversion तुम रोको, Hinduism तुम फैलाओ, टेम्पल तो हम बनाना चाहते हैं, उनको अब बनाना है टेम्पल, तो अब क्या करें, वो हमारा दोष नहीं है. बट फ्री मार्केट कैसे करना है तुम सोचो. लोगों को एडुकेट करना है कैसे फ्री मार्केट पे, इकोनॉमिक्स पे, तुम्हारा गवर्नमेंट कैसे चल रहा है, ये भी तुम करो. हम कुछ नहीं करेंगे, हम सिर्फ IPL देखेंगे और नौकरी करेंगे, बाकी सब नरेंद्र मोदी करेगा. Then that office of the prime minister will have so much power that you have to remember that someday and Arvind Kejriwal or Mamata Banerjee might become the prime minister, or someone like them will become the prime minister. Do you think liberals are gone forever? Leftists are, wokists are gone forever from the Indian political system? They will come to power and will have the exact same power and authority and responsibilities that you are giving them today. This is one thing I like about the American system to some extent, which is that their argument has never been from 1776 that you have to depend on good people on coming to power. Right now, a lot of things are working because Narendra Modi has some great intentions. UP is working fabulously because Yogi Adityanath has only and only good intentions. Okay, what happens when these people don't have those intentions, or people with bad intentions come to power? Your system cannot be dependent on good, nice people, nice, cute people coming to power. Okay, even in BJP, Himanta Biswa Sharma, K. Annamalai, if these people go away, who's going to be the great, insanely dependable person that's going to come to power and handle you? Imagine Mamata Banerjee with Yogi Adityanath's power in UP, which we basically have already, which is also the result of so many years of Bengalis saying that, yeah, ye sarkar ko karna chahiye, wo sarkar ko karna chahiye. Today, Dada has consumed Kushal Mehra, by the way. I agree with... No, I have not seen Kushal Mehra. What did Kushal Mehra say? What did he discuss this as well? Now, that is absolutely correct. When you impart responsibility on someone, you impart control to them. Look at Google, Amazon, Microsoft. Yes. Nobody understands first principles. Indians don't want to take responsibility. We always depend on politicians. Yes. And that has to change now. Because now you have seen that what are the limitations of the government. Maybe in 2014, 15, 16, maybe in 2019 you thought that, okay, just vote for BJP and then things will change and Modi will be able to change. Maybe even Modi himself thought it's his job to think that he can solve everything. And if he didn't think that, fair enough, great. But now you realize that it's not going to happen with them in power. Even if Ekam Sanatan Bharat Dal comes to power, ये media same रहेगा, ये population same रहेगा, ये ब्यूरोक्रेसी सेम रहेगा, ये एकेडेमिया सेम रहेगा, तो एकम सनातन भारत दल प्राइम मिनिस्टर बन के गवर्नमेंट में आके क्या करेगा? Except those some policy changes. Do you think those policy changes are going to change the minds of the people, minds of the academia, minds of the bureaucracy? That has to happen from you and I. I meant you talking like a libertarian, like Kushal. I am always a libertarian. I'm just not a dumb libertarian. That's all. That's why I prefer Americanism. Yeah, अब तुम Americanism बोलोगे, तुमको आके बोलेगा कि नहीं वहाँ पे तो mass shooting होता है स्कूल में. Their mass shooting problems are also because of a lot of their band-aids. I'm talking about eliminating band-aids. What can you do in name of Hinduism? People are only spreading crypto-Christianity. Yes, so you spread whatever kind of Hinduism you can. And which is why I support Bageshwar Dham wale Baba. What's his name? Bageshwar Baba? No. Okay, let's start Brahma Purana. Good people coming to power is our dependency, and that needs to go. And another thing I want to give as a prediction is, see, I predicted BJP's loss in the Panchayat elections perfectly, right? In I think 2 or 3 live streams back, and even months back when people asked about after Ram Navami violence, I said that no, BJP is going to lose because they don't have power. जो मसल पावर है वो मसल पावर के टर्म्स में तृणमूल बहुत आगे है, और उसके अलावा जो चीज़ें हैं कि मतलब लोगों को कन्विंस करना, उसमें ये बिजली नहीं आ रहा, पानी नहीं आ रहा, वो बोल के कुछ काम नहीं होगा, बिकॉज बीजेपी कांट शो दैट एवरी स्टेट दैट दे गो टू बिकम्स अ फर्स्ट वर्ल्ड कंट्री. वहाँ पे भी कभी कभी बिजली नहीं आता है, वहाँ पे भी वाटर लॉगिंग होता है, वहाँ पे भी मतलब any village problem that you can point out goes on in villages everywhere in the country, no matter who's in power. But so all you had to do was change the minds of people based on a new narrative, and educating people on the history and the threats Hindus face. That they didn't do, that they thought is impossible. Now that what they thought is possible is also turning out to be impossible. So change your tactics, or be like Ron DeSantis, who's not changing his tactics at all. But anyway, another prediction that I want to make is that now Vivek Ramaswamy seems to have a real chance at presidency, okay? Abhinag keeps saying that no, he is never going to be president, never going to be president. Everyone said that about Barack Obama. Everyone said that about Donald Trump. Everyone said that about Donald Trump even 5 minutes before the results were announced, okay? Because all their pollsters, polling companies were so much in the pockets of Hillary Clinton and the Democratic Party that they kept showing that yeah, Trump is going to lose. Trump is going to lose disastrously, and therefore vote for Hillary. So all that went to hell, and Trump in fact destroyed Hillary, right? So now the argument is that Vivek will never win because he is a Hindu, which I don't think is a remotely serious argument, because if America was really that far right Christian conservative, then a lot of other people would also not have won in America over the years, okay? Bill Clinton wouldn't win, Obama wouldn't win, Even Donald Trump wouldn't win. Donald Trump only became pretended to be a devout Christian 6 months before the presidency. Okay, and in terms of Vivek's devoutness, he's also playing that same card anyway. So there may be about 5 to 6% of the entire country living in the remotest of remote villages of Arkansas or Wisconsin or Alabama who will say that I will vote for my dog over a Hindu. But those people are a hilariously laughable, negligible minority, okay? But why am I saying that Vivek now has a serious chance of becoming the president? That is because his recent interview at the black commie, black nationalist, black superiorist, black supremacist radio channel called The Breakfast Club. Everyone of you should watch that interview. It's up on YouTube. I know about the Breakfast Club. I've seen a lot of their earlier interviews as well. They are hilariously unfair and basically an ugly interviewing system where you will probably bleed from your eyes and ears if you look at that interview. So I listened to about half and I realized okay, this is it's going where it's supposed to go. And I think now the black vote is in fact lost for Vivek because he has already come out in support of ending affirmative action. Now, instead, after the Breakfast Club interview, there has been a huge support for Vivek Ramaswamy from the black community from all over the world, in fact. Okay, let me tell you why. This is why I relate with this situation a lot, because I am somebody who's criticizing a lot of what's going on in the Bengali society or West Bengal culture, right? And I will obviously get told that I'm a self-hating Bengali. But I'm not saying that I hate Bengali culture, which according to me is Sanatan Dharma. And the Bengali language, I don't have a problem with it. I don't have a problem with the rock band, Bengali rock band Fossils. I don't have a problem with the Bengali rock band Mohinar Ghoraguli. I have a problem with what being Bengali stands for today, what being a bong stands for today. In the same way, black conservatives get shat upon and pissed upon by democratic, liberal and commie and woke blacks all over the country all the time. Okay. Now their fight is again tough because they'll be told that they are self-hating blacks, they are traitors to their race, etc. But up until 2016, there was not really much of a thing called black conservatives in USA. During the 2020 elections, minorities voted for Donald Trump more than ever. Minorities voted for Donald Trump in 2020 more than they did in 2016. Latinos voted for Donald Trump way more than they did in 2016. Even Ron DeSantis, who's basically the most successful governor in USA in the last 30 years maybe, he has gotten the highest percentages of votes from non-whites this time last year, okay, in their governor elections. In fact, Ron DeSantis won a special neighborhood called Dade County, which has not voted for Republicans in 30 years. This is the first time they are voting. So the non-white votes for Republicans are increasing because non-whites are not as stupid as white liberals. A lot of their family values are still conservative. Now, that did not stop Trump from losing because it was the white liberals, especially not white liberals, white women, and who border on libertarianism and conservatism, slightly center left, slightly center right, kind of centrist, kind of independent. Those were the people who did not who did not vote for Donald Trump in 2020, even though they did vote for Donald Trump in 2016. Okay, they were the ones who took away their vote, but the colored votes actually increased for Republicans and Donald Trump. Now, I thought that the black vote is totally going to Donald Trump, which was seeming like that from the beginning of this election campaign. But now, after this Breakfast Club interview, which happened about 1 week back, Vivek Ramaswamy has been rallying all the black conservative votes because they are saying that, yes, we like Trump. Our lives got better under Trump. And most NRIs and white liberals and even Indian liberals who follow, even Indian right-wingers who follow stupid American liberal channels, they don't know there's any such thing called black conservatives, okay? They only have heard of Candace Owens, maybe. But there is a huge black conservative movement going on. But these black conservatives are now saying after the Breakfast Club interview that our lives got better under Trump, but we want someone who we are much surer that will get things done. They are having some more faith on Vivek Ramaswamy than Donald Trump. And if you see any poll, Trump's is slightly going down. Ron DeSantis' polls are absolutely going down. It's only Vivek Ramaswamy whose polls are absolutely going high and high, okay? And other than that, after the Breakfast Club interview, I can't keep scrolling. You will take about 1 hour if you keep scrolling and see how many black conservatives have been reacting to the Breakfast Club interview with Vivek Ramaswamy, supporting Vivek Ramaswamy, okay? And a lot of black conservative channels have come up simply to appreciate Vivek Ramaswamy and react to that video, react to that interview of Vivek Ramaswamy with the Breakfast Club. And there is a transnational black movement, okay? It's like blacks of everywhere talking about black politics of everywhere. Even inside that, there are black liberals, black commies, black wokes, and black conservatives who believe in God, conservatism, religion, and free market capitalism, okay? Even in terms of that, countless people, countless YouTube channels from Africa, black people from Africa, from their YouTube channels have been coming out in support of Vivek Ramaswamy, reacting to that interview of Ramaswamy with Breakfast Club. All because Ramaswamy was being attacked viciously, but Ramaswamy kept his calm and did not use one cuss word and did not even react angrily. He just calmly handled it and moved on. And even inside that extremely antagonistic situation that he was in, he completely kept his cool and put his point forward and articulated his points beautifully. Now, what's going to happen is two things. First, black conservatives who could not say a lot of things, who felt shy of saying a lot of things, even though they did identify as black conservatives since 2016, a lot of things could not be said by them because they would get criticized so hard for being race traitors of some sort, okay, or sellouts who are not listening to black problems, etc. But now that Vivek Ramaswamy has had the balls to start those conversations, they are absolutely going and standing behind Vivek Ramaswamy because they feel like, yeah, if a white person said this, they would be kicked off the mainstream platforms because they would be called racist. Because a lot of people, a lot of commies who read Thomas Sowell's books but don't know who Thomas Sowell is, call him a racist, right? They have written reviews saying that Thomas Sowell is a big racist white man, and afterwards they were told that no, Thomas Sowell is actually black. So a white person cannot say the things Vivek Ramaswamy is saying, and black conservatives cannot say these things because they have the fear of getting told that they are basically race betrayers, okay? Just like I would be called a Bengali ethnicity betrayer. But now they are getting to say that. On top of that, there are black centrists who are saying that yes, since this interview was so bad, and a lot of them are saying that I hadn't even heard of Vivek Ramaswamy until now, or I hadn't even voted for Republicans until now, but I am definitely going to vote for Vivek Ramaswamy now because he says the things which I think in my mind. Which is why even a lot of Democrats and centrist black people are going to vote for Vivek Ramaswamy, and that's a huge gain. And other than that, a lot of people think that since after all Vivek Ramaswamy is a more educated and more well-spoken guy, not brash like Trump, so maybe they'll also shift their vote to Ramaswamy. And also because Trump's voters have absolutely no problem with Ramaswamy. On a lot of things, Ramaswamy is further right of Donald Trump. And some people do like Trump just because he's brash and not as soft-spoken as Vivek Ramaswamy. But I think it's going to be fun, and Vivek Ramaswamy has a real shot at the presidency now. Are Dutch going right-wing? Yes, Dutch are going right-wing, and so are Canada. I think this time Trudeau is going to lose, and that Pierre guy is going to become the Prime Minister. Like Tantra, Purana, parts of text that are not agreeable with their modern morality of what they cannot make Goras understand. You have to sell what the market wants, not in this case. Like I as a Bengali is traitor to Bengali community because I oppose Bengali pride wala's logic, and also the Bengali logic of Bengali narratives and glorification of laziness and lad, or the Bengali blind glorification that we are the best in art and culture everywhere. Where's your Kantara? Where's your RRR? Where's your Bahubali? The best you can do is make a black and white movie about sexual exploration, or that how great Hindu-Muslim friendship and marriages are. That's the epitome of Bengali intelligence in terms of art and culture, at least in terms of filmmaking. In music, I would say Bengal still has some great stuff, but that doesn't get highlighted because our economy is in the shithole, okay? Otherwise, I don't think there's any band today in the country who does original rock music to the capabilities of Fossils, okay? Fossils is the best original rock music band in the entire country according to me, and Indradeep Dasgupta is definitely one of the top 5 composers in the country according to me, but their voices will never get heard because Bengal's economy is in the shit and our movies are shit. तो तुम अच्छा, if A.R. Rahman made all his songs in Bengali movies, even he would never be heard. That's the problem. And the guy who arranges the orchestral music songs for and the orchestral background scores for Indrajit Das Gupta, his name is Shamik Chakraborty. He's easily one of the top 3 or top 4 orchestral arrangers in the country. You are too optimistic about Vivek Ramaswamy. I think he'll lose to Trump. Vivek is simply not part of the mainstream discussions yet. In terms of polling numbers, he's only increasing. He is leaving behind so many people who are mainstream names. That is what I'm saying. He is way ahead of Nikki Haley already, who is a governor. He is almost, or if not a little ahead of the former vice president, Trump's own vice president, Mike Pence, who no one cares about on the internet world. Only old white people care about him because they don't watch anything other than the mainstream news or Fox News. Then he is ahead of so many senators. तो mainstream होके जो लोग कुछ उखाड़ नहीं पा रहे हैं विवेक रामास्वामी के सामने. So when he does get to the debate stage, that's when Vivek Ramaswamy will fire his real rockets. But I do have a concern that ultimately the establishment of neither Democratic Party nor the Republican Party, nor the military industrial complex, nor the deep state, no one wants policies like Trump or Ramaswamy's to come to the forefront. Okay, so they will try their hardest to not have Trump or Ramaswamy in power. So I think at the end of the day, since there are so many competitors in the stage of the going to be on the primary debate stage, there are 8 to 9 guys on the debate stage, so everyone will get those 30-40 second 1 minute bite at max, and the anchors will keep interrupting them saying that, Congressman, Mr. President, but Mr. President, and no one will get their point through. So I think that is one way they will shut up Donald Trump and Vivek Ramaswamy, and maybe have Mike Pence become the forefront somehow, because they want an establishment guy in the picture. But other than that, Ramaswamy is beating all the mainstream guys. Shames is saying, okay, now I'll start Brahma Purana. Okay, let me just check some final comments. Rohan Shatra, Sweden is right wing. Italy, yeah. Sweden is centrist. Okay. Market always want the same thing in thing. You need to wrap your product properly. Yogini Tantra text part of Hinduism. Google showing it is written in 16th-17th century in Assam. Human sacrifice also mentioned there. Okay. Okay, it's a fun subchapter to begin with today, guys. The Brahma Puran. If anyone was waiting just for Brahma Puran, I apologize to you. We had to discuss a little bit of other international stuff as well. Hari's incarnations. Okay. Vyasa said, we are talking about Lomaharshana narrating what Brahma is saying, and this is Brahma narrating about Vyasa, although it's alternate. Sometimes Rishi Lomaharshana is narrating about Vyasa saying something, and sometimes Rishi Lomaharshana is saying what Brahma is narrating. Okay. Vyasa said, "O tigers among sages, listen. I will briefly tell you about the avatars Hari assumed, with a desire to remove the burden here. O Brahmanas, whenever there is an increase in adharma and a decline in dharma, God Janardana assumes an avatar here, by dividing his own body into 2 parts. He does this to protect the virtuous and establish dharma, and to chastise the wicked and others who hate the gods. To protect the subjects, he is born from one yuga to another yuga. O Brahmanas, earlier the earth suffered from a great burden. The earth went to the assembly of the gods on Meru. The earth prostrated herself before Brahma and all the other gods, and in piteous worlds told them everything about her miseries. The earth said, for those who are of good varnas, fire is the preceptor, the sun is the preceptor for cows, Narayana is the preceptor who is worshipped by me and all the worlds. The Daityas with Kalanemi at the forefront have now arrived. They have arrived in the world of mortals, and day and night are oppressing the subjects. Using Vishnu's powers, Vishnu had killed Kalanemi. However, the great Asura has now been reborn as Ugrasena's son Kamsa. There are other fierce Asuras too. Arishta, Dhenuka, Keshi, Pralamba, Naraka, Sunda and Bana, Bali's son. Other extremely valiant ones have been born in the homes of kings. These evil-souled ones have been born, and I am not interested in enumerating all of them. O gods, Those extremely strong Indras among Daityas are insolent and are using many divine Akshohinis and divine forms to attack me. O lords among the immortals, I am suffering and am unable to bear this great burden. I am terrified and I am informing you about this. O immensely fortunate ones, please act so as to remove me of this burden. I am so agitated that I might end up going to Rasatala. End quote. Now we are getting back to what Vedvyasa is narrating, okay? It is said that all the gods heard the words spoken by the earth. For the sake of removing the earth's burden, they spoke to Brahma and urged him. Brahma said, O residents of heaven, everything that the earth has said is true. I, Bhava, and you, all of us derive our powers from Narayana. Depending on whether one is hindered or does the hindering, there are superior powers and inferior powers. He is superior to us. Therefore, let us go to the excellent shores of the ocean of milk. There we will worship Hari and tell him everything. All the gods are in him. The universe is in him. He pervades the universe. He is in all Atmans. Using a small portion of his own self, he will descend and act so as to establish Dharma. End quote. Having said this, along with the gods, the grandfather left for that spot. He controlled his mind and praised the one who has Garuda on his standard. Standard meaning stick. Brahma said, I bow down to you. I bow down to the one who has 1,000 forms, 1,000 arms and many faces and feet. I bow down to you. You are engaged in the creation, preservation and destruction of the universe. I bow down to you. You are supreme and beyond measure. You are more subtle than the most subtle. You are larger than the largest in size. You are heavier than the heaviest. You are Pradhana. You are the one with many senses. You are the Pradhana who is in the Atmans of all the worlds. O illustrious one, be pleased. O God, this earth, bound by the mountains, is suffering. The great Asuras have been born on earth. You are the refuge, and for the sake of relieving her burden, she has approached you. You are the one who enables the crossing over to the other shore. O protector of the worlds, protector of the gods, instruct us. All of us gods will carry out your task. Vritra's enemy, meaning Indra, Nasatya, Dasra, Varuna, the Rudras, the Vasus, the Suryas, the wind god, the fire god, and all the other foremost ones. Instruct us about your command. Remove our taints. We are always ready to carry out what you want. Vyasa continued, quote, the illustrious and supreme Lord was praised in this way. O supreme among Brahmanas, he plucked out 2 strands of his hair, one white, the other black. He told the gods, these 2 strands of my hair will be incarnated on earth for the purpose of removing the earth's burden. All the gods should use their own respective portions to be born on earth. Let them fight with the maddened large Asuras who have already been born. In this way, all the Daityas on earth will be exterminated. There is no doubt that they will be crushed by many kinds of weapons. Devaki, Vasudeva's wife, is like a goddess. O immortals, this strand of my hair will be born as the 8th child in her womb. Having thus descended on earth, it will kill Kamsa, who is Kalanemi, who has again been born there. Saying this, Hari vanished. Though he vanished, they prostrated themselves before the great-souled one. The gods went to the slope of Meru and then descended on earth. The illustrious sage Narada told Kamsa, quote, the 8th child in Devaki's womb will be born on earth and slay you. End quote. Hearing this from Narada, Kamsa became angry. He imprisoned Devaki and Vasudeva in their house. O Brahmanas, whenever a son was born, as he had himself promised him earlier, Vasudeva handed him over to Kamsa. End quote. The 6 sons in the womb are famous as Hiranyakashipu's sons. Kamsa wanted to kill Devaki. One footnote is given. Kamsa wanted to kill Devaki and Vasudeva, but Vasudeva promised that he would hand over all his sons to Kamsa. Hence, Kamsa did not kill Devaki and Vasudeva, but imprisoned them and guarded them. The 6 sons in the womb are famous as Hiranyakashipu's sons. The first 6 of Devaki's sons killed by Kamsa, in an earlier birth, they had been Hiranyakashipu's sons, and Hiranyakashipu had cursed them that they would be killed in this way. Urged by Vishnu, Nidra progressively conveyed them to the womb. The illustrious Hari's Maya confounds the entire universe in the form of ignorance. This Maya of Vishnu's is known as Yoga Nidra or Mahamaya. Vishnu said, O Nidra, follow my instructions and go to Patala. These 6 are there. One by one, convey them to Devaki's womb. They will be killed by Kamsa. My unblemished portion is known as Shesha. A small part of this will become the 7th fetus in her womb. Vasudeva's wife Rohini is in Gokula. When it is time for delivery, convey this fetus to her womb, which means convey the baby from Devaki's womb to Rohini's womb. People will say that because she is scared of the king of Bhoja, Kamsa, and because she has been imprisoned, Devaki has miscarried her 7th child. Since this fetus has been dragged away, it will be known in the world as Samkarshana, meaning Samkarshana means attracting or dragging. The valiant one will be like the peak of a white mountain, O auspicious one. After this, I will be born in Devaki's womb. Without any delay, you must go to Yashoda's womb. I will be born on the 8th lunar day in Krishna Paksha in the month of Shravana during the rainy season. You will be born on the 9th lunar day. O unblemished one, urged by my powers, Vasudeva will take me to Yashoda's bed and will take you to Devaki's bed. O goddess, Kamsa will seize you and hurl you on a slab made of stone. Flung in this way, you will obtain a place in the firmament. Out of deference towards me, Shakra will prostrate himself before you 100 times. Having bowed his head down, he will accept you as his sister. After this, you will kill Shumbha and Nishumbha and thousands of Daityas. In many places, temples to you will ornament the entire earth. You are Bhuti, Sannati, Kirti, Kanti, Prithivi, Dhriti, Lajja, Pushti, Uma, and every other goddess. A small footnote is given that Bhuti is the meanings. Bhuti is prosperity, Sannati is reverence, Kirti is fame, Kanti is beauty, Dhriti is fortitude, Lajja is modesty, and Pushti is nourishment. These goddesses are the personified forms of these attributes. In the morning and in the evening, people will bend their bodies down and praise you as Arya, Durga, Vedagarbha, Ambika, Bhadra, Bhadrakali, Kshemya, and Kshemakari. Kshemakari. Through my favors, they will obtain whatever they desire. When you are worshipped with liquor, flesh, gifts, food, and objects of pleasure, and are pleased, you will satisfy all the desires of men. Through my favors, there is no doubt that they will always be fortunate. O goddess, without any hesitation, go in the way you have been told. End quote. Now a subchapter begins, Krishna's birth. Lajja used in Bangla, yes, modesty. Divine surrogacy. আচ্ছা কত নম্বর পাতা চলছে? এটা 379. Are you reading this translation or some or Bengali translation? In that case, the pages will be different. Market also, okay. Kanti used in Hindi at times, yes. And we use Kanti as a middle name. It's a pretty common it used to be a pretty common middle name until 30-40 years back. Surjokanto Misro. Is that Kanti and Kanto, they are the same? পাতি কিনেছি, পাতি মানে কি এক্ষেত্রে? পাতি বলতে কি মানে বাংলা ট্রান্সলেশন? Okay, Krishna's birth, guys. Buckle up. Vyasa said, as she had been instructed by the gods of the gods earlier, one by one, Jagadhatri, footnote is given, the literally mother of the universe, okay, Jagadhatri conveyed the 6 fetuses. When the 7th was conveyed to Rohini's womb to bring welfare to the 3 worlds, Hari entered Devaki's womb. As Parameshti had said earlier, on that same day, Yoganidra appeared in Yashoda's womb. O Brahmanas, when Vishnu's portion appeared on earth, the seasons became auspicious and the movements of the planets in the sky were propitious. Such was Devaki's great energy that no one was capable of looking at her. On witnessing the resplendence of her body, the minds of men and women were agitated and they couldn't look at her. Night and day, large numbers of gods praised Devaki with Vishnu inside her. The gods said, "You are Swaha, you are Svadha, you are Vidya, you are Shuddha, you are resplendence. To protect all the worlds, you have been incarnated on earth. O goddess, show us your favors. Do what will bring welfare to the entire universe. To ensure what is agreeable, bear the Lord who holds up the entire universe." End quote. Let's check out the footnotes. The goddess, it means that the goddess has been incarnated in the form of Devaki, and उसके पहले meanings दिया गया था. So Vidya is of course personified form of knowledge. Shuddha is personified form of nectar. Yes. In Bengali we will pronounce it as Shuddha. আর পরের কমেন্ট পড়বে ওটাই কিনেছি. ওকে, ও এটাই মানে এই পেঙ্গুইনেরটা. Which chapter are you reading in Brahma Puran? It's called The Birth of Krishna. Krishna's birth. It's volume 1. I don't know what that subchapter is called in the original translations or the Hindi or Bengali versions. Thus praised by the gods, she bore the divinity Pundarikaksha, the one who saves the universe in her womb. To make the entire universe bloom like a lotus, the great-souled Achyuta manifested himself like the sun, and Devaki bore him, like the morning Sandhya. The images of a dawn before the sun rises, that in this case means Sandhya. Although in Bengali, Sandhya means only dusk. At midnight, Janardana, who holds everything up, was born. The clouds rumbled gently and the gods showered down flowers. His complexion was like that of a blossoming blue lotus, and he had 4 arms. He was born with the Shrivatsa mark on his chest. On seeing him, Anakadundubhi praised him. O supreme among Brahmanas, the immensely wise one praised him with pleasant words. However, scared of Kamsa, he also told him the following. Vasudeva said, "O divinity, O Lord of the gods, O one who holds the conch shell, chakra and mace, I know who you are, O divinity, but please show us your favors and withdraw this divine form, O God. Otherwise, on getting to know that you have descended in my house, Kamsa will torture me today." Devaki said, "O one whose form is infinite, O one whose form is the entire universe, O radiant one, O one who holds the worlds in your womb, O God of the gods, show us your favors. Through your own Maya, you have revealed this form as a child. O one who is the Atman of everything, please withdraw this 4-armed form. O slayer of Diti's sons, let Kamsa not know that you have descended." The illustrious one replied, "O goddess, desiring a son, you had eulogized me earlier. Since I have now been born from your womb, your wish has met with success." End quote. O supreme among sages, having said this, the illustrious one was silent. That very night, Vasudeva took him and ventured out. The guards were confounded by Yoga Nidra and fell asleep, as were the guards to the gates of Mathura. Anakadundubhi went out. Throughout the night, the clouds incessantly showered down rain. However, Shesha raised up his hoods and shielded Anakadundubhi. The Yamuna was exceedingly deep and was full of hundreds of eddies. Eddies. However, when Vasudeva bore Vishnu, the water only reached up to his knees. As he approached the other banks of the Yamuna, he saw Nanda and the other elderly Gopas who paid taxes to Kamsa. O sages, at that time, Yashoda was also confounded by Yoga Nidra and was asleep. While all the people were confounded, she gave birth to a daughter. The infinitely radiant Vasudeva placed his son on Yashoda's bed. Picking up the daughter, he quickly returned. When she woke up, Yashoda saw her newborn son and was filled with great delight. His complexion was as dark as a blue lotus. Vasudeva picked up the daughter and, returning to his own house, placed her on Devaki's bed. He then remained wherever he had been before. The guards heard the sound of an infant wailing and immediately woke up. O Brahmanas! They went and informed Kamsa that Devaki had delivered. Kamsa rushed there and seized the daughter. In a choking voice, Devaki tried to restrain him and exclaimed, "Free her! Let her be!" But He flung her against a slab of stone. Hurled in this way, she rose up and remained stationed in the air. She assumed a great and eight-armed form. She laughed at Kamsa and addressed him in these angry words. Yogamaya said, now she becomes Yogamaya. O Kamsa, what will you achieve by hurling me in this way? The one who will kill you has been born. He is everything for the gods. For you, he has been death earlier. Reflecting on this, quickly do something that is good for your own self. Having said this, the goddess, adorned with divine garlands and ornaments and praised by the Siddhas, left through the sky, while the king of Bhoja looked on. Yes, হ্যাঁ ওই কমেন্ট দেরিতে এসেছিল. Okay, now let's see what Kamsa does about it. Kamsa's moves. Nice, we got some interesting discussions today. Okay, let me have a sip of coffee before that. Now, Kamsa's moves. Vyasa said, at this, Kamsa's mind was filled with anxiety. He summoned the bulls among the Asuras with Pralamba and Keshi as the foremost. He spoke to all the great Asuras. Kamsa said, O Pralamba, you mighty armed one, O Keshi, O Dhenuka, O Putana, O Arishta and all the others, listen to my words. Evil-souled ones are making efforts to kill me. They are tormented by my valor and I do not reckon them as brave. A footnote says that the next text gives an alternative rendering of this shloka. Because of what the earth said, the gods have sent Vasava's younger brother. O brave ones, they are tormented by my valor and I am not bothered by this. So it's a different variation that Bibek Debroy just mentions in the footnote. O bulls among Daityas, I am filled with wonder at what the girl said. O brave ones, because of the efforts the enemies are making, I can only laugh. O Indras among Daityas, nevertheless, because those evil-souled ones are making efforts to harm me, I must make efforts that are superior to what those wicked ones do. The Lord of the past, the present and the future has been born to bring about my death. The girl who was born from Devaki's womb said this. Therefore, we must make great efforts for all the children on earth. If any child has extraordinary strength, we must make efforts to kill him. Having instructed the Asuras in this way, Kamsa entered his house. Without any antagonism towards Vasudeva and Devaki, he spoke to them. Kamsa said, my attempt to kill your offspring has been futile. So as to kill me, some other child seems to have been born now. You should not grieve about what is inevitable. Who can kill your sons if they can possess lifespans? O best among Brahmanas, reassuring and comforting them in this way, Kamsa released them. Thereafter, he again entered the inner quarters of his house. Now, Putana and the cart. Vyasa said, released, Vasudeva used a cart to go to Nanda and saw that Nanda was delighted that a son had been born to him. Though he knew that this son was his own, Vasudeva affectionately told him, this is good fortune. It is good fortune that a son has now been born to you in your old age. All of you pay your annual taxes to the king. The purpose for which you came here has been achieved. O great-souled ones, you should not remain here. O Nanda, you should quickly return to your own Gokula. Rohini has delivered my son. You should protect him, just as you protect your own son. Thus addressed, with Nanda Gopa leading the way, the immensely strong Gopas departed, after having paid in their taxes and loading all the vessels on their carts. Putana used to slay young children. While they resided in Gokula, in the night, she picked up Krishna when he was asleep and offered him her breast. During the night, whenever Putana offered her breast to a child, that son instantly died. With great force, Krishna seized her breasts with his hands and crushed her. Full of rage, he drank and sucked out her life. Released of her breath of life, and with the bonds of her sinews severed, Putana uttered a mighty roar. She fell down on the ground, and as she lay dying, she was extremely terrible. All the residents of Vraja is the area around Vrindavana. All the residents around Vraja heard that terrifying roar and woke up. They saw Putana, who had fallen down with Krishna on her lap. O Brahmanas, scared, Yashoda gathered Krishna up. Whirling a cow's tail above the child, she removed any taints that might have got associated with him. Nanda Gopa brought some cow dung and applied it to Krishna's head so that he might be protected. For protection, he uttered the following. Nanda said, "May Keshava, the origin of all living beings, protect you. The creator of the entire universe was generated from a lotus in his navel. God Keshava assumed the form of a boar and raised up the entire world on the tip of his tusk. He is the one who held the earth. May he protect you. Keshava assumed the form of Nrsimha and used his nails to rip apart his enemy's chest. May the Lord protect you everywhere. May Vishnu protect your genital organs and your stomach. May Janardana protect your calves and feet." In an instant, Vamana assumed an extraordinary form and covered the 3 worlds in 3 of his strides. May the one with the flashing weapons always protect you. May Govinda protect your head. May Keshava protect your neck. May the undecaying Narayana, whose marvelous powers can never be obstructed, protect your face, arms, forearms, mind, and all your senses. May Govinda protect you in the directions. May Madhusudana protect you in the subdirections. May Rishikesha protect you in the sky. May Mahidhara protect you on the ground. Mahidhara meaning literally the one who holds up the earth. In this way, Nanda Gopa performed the rites of benediction for the child. Rites of benediction kya hai? Anyaprasan kind of thing. RITES rites, of course. The boy who was asleep on his bed was placed underneath a cart. On seeing Putana's gigantic body, the Gopas were astounded. Though she was dead, they were extremely frightened and filled with great wonder. On one occasion, Madhusudana was lying down under a cart. Weeping and searching for a breast, he kicked his legs upwards. As a consequence of being struck by his legs, the cart was overturned. All the vessels and pots tumbled down and were shattered. I remember seeing these in the Krishna old Doordarshan Krishna TV serial. Nice, all the memories are coming back. O Brahmanas, there were sounds of lamentation among all the people, the Gopas and the Gopis. They arrived there and saw that the child was lying down on his back. The Gopas asked, "Who turned the cart over?" The children present replied, "This infant brought it down. We saw him weep and fling his feet around. He is the one who overturned the cart. No one else has done this." At this, the minds of the Gopas was greatly amazed yet again. Greatly surprised, Nanda Gopa clasped the child. Yashoda was filled with wonder and used curds, flowers, fruits, and akshata to worship the overturned cart and the broken vessels. Akshata means that this can mean grain of any kind, but it is specifically used for threshed and winnowed rice that has not been dehusked. Okay. Do you all know that the person who played the role of Lord Krishna in the Krishna ancient old Hindi serial, he's actually a Bengali. He's a Bengali from UP, as far as I remember, and he is insanely fit even today. He's about 60 years old. He's totally jacked and shredded, works out a lot, does a whole lot of charity, etc. Putana, yes, not Putana, right? Okay, now the move to Vrindavana. Vyasa said, urged by Vasudeva, Garga went to Gokula, hiding who he was from the Gopas. He performed samskaras for the 2 of them. The immensely intelligent Garga, supreme among intelligent ones, gave the name of Rama to the elder one and Krishna to the younger one. O Brahmanas, in a short while, the 2 of them came to be known as immensely strong. They started to boldly crawl around on their knees. As they roamed around here and there, their limbs became smeared with dry cow dung. But Yashoda or Rohini were not interested in restraining them. They played around in the pens made for cows or in the pens meant for calves. They eagerly tugged at the tails of calves that had just been born. The children wandered around and did not remain in the same place. They were extremely restless, and when they played, Yashoda was incapable of restraining them. Krishna's deeds could never be restrained. However, she tied a rope around his middle and bound him to a mortar. So the story is that, we have to check out these 2 footnotes, okay. There are 13 samskaras or sacraments. The list varies a bit, but one list is Vivaha, Garbhalambhana, which means conception, Pumshavana, engendering a male child, Simantonnayana, parting the hair, performed in the fourth month of pregnancy, Jatakarna, birthrights, Namakarna, naming, Chudakarma, tonsure, Annaprashana, first solid food, Keshanta, first shaving of the head, Upanayana, sacred thread, and Vidyarambha, commencement of studies, Samavartana, graduation, and Antyeshi, funeral rites. We have learned some of these in the Manusmriti, of course. After Samavartana, one ceases to be a student and becomes usually a householder. In this case, one is specifically talking about Namakarana. Okay. So, however, she tied a rope around his middle and bound him to a mortar, meaning hence Krishna is Damodara. From Dama, around the Udara. Okay, so that's the meaning of Damodara. Dama Udara. Wait, let me just mark this. She spoke to him angrily. Yashoda said, "O restless one, try and move now, if you are capable of doing it. Ab dikhao kaise daudoge." Having said this, she became engaged in household work. The lotus-eyed one eagerly tugged at the mortar and dragged it between two Arjuna trees. When he dragged it between the trees, the mortar got stuck sideways. The two Arjuna trees with lofty branches broke. The shattering sound penetrated the ears of the residents of Vraja and made them suffer. They arrived there and saw those two large trees. Their trunks were shattered, and with their branches broken, they had fallen down on the ground. They saw the child, who could only crawl a little on his knees, smiling there. He was stuck between them, with the rope tied to his stomach. Since he had been tied with a rope, he was thereafter known as Damodara. With Nanda Gopa at the forefront, all the aged Gopals consulted among themselves. They were extremely anxious and scared of these evil portents. "We should not remain here. We should leave and find another great forest. Many kinds of evil portents are witnessed here, and they indicate destruction. Putana was destroyed. There was a calamity with the cart. The two trees have fallen down in the absence of a strong wind. Without any delay, we should leave and go to Vrindavana." Now, footnote says that Vraja was a general area and there were many forests in Vraja. Vrindavana was one of these forests. The Gopas left the forest they were then in and went to Vrindavana, another forest. Both forests were in Vraja. Without any delay, we should leave and go to Vrindavana before the taints associated with these great and evil portents prevent us from moving at all. End quote. Having made up their minds to leave, all the residents of Vraja spoke to their own respective families. "Make haste! Let us go without any delay." They left immediately with their carts and wealth of cattle. The residents of Vraja departed, along with the leaders of the herds and the cow herds who looked after the calves. O Brahmanas, within a short period of time, that part of Vraja was only infested by male and female cows, with various objects scattered and strewn around. The illustrious Krishna, unrestricted in his deeds, mentally thought about Vrindavana's welfare. He desired that the cattle should increase. O supreme Brahmanas, this was the summer season and the place was exceedingly dry. Nevertheless, there were fresh shoots of grass everywhere, as if it was the rainy season. All the residents of Vraja started to live in Vrindavana. They placed their carts and pens in a semicircle around them. Rama and Damodara started to herd the calves. Rama, of course, in this context is Balarama. They remained in that pasture land and indulged in their childish pastimes. The feathers of peacocks adorned their heads. They wore garlands of wild flowers. They created musical sounds with flutes made of bamboo and whistles made of leaves. The two boys had sidelocks like a crow's wings. Kalapaksha, like a crow's wing, in a description of sidelocks of hair on the temples of boys of young men. Beautiful allegory and imagery. The two boys had sidelocks like a crow's wings. Kalapaksha. It's not Kalapaksha. I was pronouncing it wrong the entire time. It's Kakapaksha. Literally, yeah. Kakapaksha, crow's wings. The two young boys resembled fires. They laughed, played, and roamed around in the large forest. They laughed and played with each other and sometimes also did this with the others. The sons of the Gopas were just like them. They herded the calves and wandered around. After some time had passed, they attained 7 years of age. In that great place of Vraja, the protectors of everything in the universe became the protectors of calves. The monsoon season arrived and there were extremely dense clouds in the sky. Torrents of rain poured down and all the directions seemed to have been reduced to one. The earth was covered with fresh and excellent flowers and shakragopas. This means a reddish insect, sometimes identified with a firefly, also known as Indragopa or Shakragopa. It was as if it was adorned with emeralds and rubies. In every direction, the waters of the rivers flooded the banks and didn't follow the usual course. Like the mind of an indisciplined person who has just obtained some wealth. In the evening, as they wished, those two extremely strong ones would return to Vraja and, like mortals, play with the Gopa boys, who were just like them. Next subchapter is called Subjugation of Kaliya or Kalya. I don't know how to pronounce it. Kaliya. Kalya. Who knows? Is the audio volume low or is it my earphone? It is low. Acha. Hello. But anyway, this is where our live stream ends today, guys. This will be a short live stream today. Next day we will start from Subjugation of Kaliya. अब volume बढ़ा के कोई फायदा नहीं है. No, it's clipping. Yeah. Was it? Yeah. Yeah, this is the right volume. It was my mistake. Kaliya. Okay. Thanks for joining the live stream, guys. Next day we start from Subjugation of Kaliya. I should have fixed the volume earlier on. Kaliya Nag. I see. Oh, then it will be a... I have never heard of Kaliya Nag. Next day's live stream will be fun then on Brahma Purana. Probably day after tomorrow. Tomorrow, if I do come live, we will discuss Bangali Itihash again. Okay then. Good night, guys.